Most people think Castro Valley is just one big uniform suburban town. But if you're actually out here touring homes, you quickly realize there is a massive difference between the 94546 and the 94552 zip codes. In fact, they feel like two completely different worlds. On one side, you have the established, high character neighborhoods of 94546. On the other, the modern hilltop estates of 94552. One offers proximity and convenience, the other offers seclusion and views. I'm Mac Rogers, your Castro Valley neighborhood specialist, and I've helped dozens of families navigate this exact choice. Picking the wrong zip code here isn't just about the house. It completely changes your commute, where your kids go to school, and your monthly budget. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which side of the canyon actually fits your life. Let's start with 94546. This is the classic Castro Valley. If you want that established suburban feel, think mature trees, flat streets, and neighborhoods where kids are actually out riding bikes. This is where you'll find it. Areas like the Proctor neighborhood are the gold standard here. You're close to everything. You can get to the Castro Valley Marketplace or the library in 5 minutes. You've got Lake Chabot right in your backyard for weekend hikes, and honestly, it's the only part of town that's even remotely, walkable-ish for your morning coffee run. It feels grounded. It feels like the Bay Area suburb we all grew up in. But the trade-off, it can be a little busier, and you definitely have more through traffic than you do up in the hills. Now, as soon as you head up the hill into 94552, everything changes. This is the newer Castro Valley. If you're looking at Five Canyons or Palomares Hills, you're getting a totally different experience. It's quiet, it's secluded, it feels more like a getaway than a suburb. In the 94552, you're trading the stroller-friendly streets for high elevation views and massive trail systems right outside your front door. It could be a very active lifestyle, but it's a car-dependent lifestyle. Up here, you're not gonna be walking to get tacos or beers or coffee. You're driving down the hill for everything. If you wanna come here, close the gate, and not hear a single car drive by, then 94552 is the clear winner. The vibe check usually comes down to this. Do you want to be in the mix near downtown and the lake in the 94546? Or do you want the resort-style seclusion of the hills of 94552? Most of my clients think they know what they want until we actually drive both. Now let's talk about actual structures, because the homes themselves couldn't be more different. If you're looking in 94546, you're getting character. These are mostly post-war ranch homes built between the 1940s and the 1960s. You'll see a lot of those classic hardwood floors, fireplaces, and single-story layouts. The big win in 94546 is the land. These lots are often massive. If you want a pool, a massive garden, or room for an ADU for, the in-laws or as a rental, this is the zip code you want to be in. Plus, you generally won't have to deal with HOA, so you have more freedom. But if you move up into 94552, you're entering the land of the modern estate. Most of these homes were built in the late 80s through the early 2000s. We're talking about vaulted ceilings, huge primary suites with walk-in closets, and 3-car garages. In communities like Five Canyons or Palomares Hills, you're getting a turnkey lifestyle. You don't have to worry about 60-year-old plumbing here, but there is a trade-off. HOAs. You're going to pay a monthly fee for those community pools and tennis courts, and your lot size will probably a little bit smaller and steeper than down the valley. In 94552, you're paying for the house and the view. In 94546, you're paying for the location and the dirt, bigger dirt or more dirt. Now let's look at the actual numbers, because the 2025 data for detached single-family homes tells a very clear story about the demand. In 94546, 295 homes sold last year. The median home price was around 1.12 million, and on average, they sold in just 13 days. It's a fast-paced market because this is where the bulk of the inventory sits. But look at the jump when you head into the hills of 94552. Only 89 homes sold last year. The median price was 1,520,000, and they sold in 16 days. you're paying a $400,000 premium on average to be in the 94552 zip code. People are willing to pay that for newer builds in those views. However, there is a massive financial factor in 2026 that almost everyone forgets until they are in escrow, and that is homeowners fire insurance. In the 94546, insurance is usually standard, but in the hills at 94552, because the homes are tucked into the canyons and surrounded by hills, many of them are classified in high fire hazard zones. This can make getting insurance a challenge. You might be looking at a significantly higher premiums or even the California Fair Plan. If you're not factoring in an extra $3 or $4 or even $500 a month into your house insurance in the hills, your dream home could become a financial nightmare. This is something we have to check before we even write a contract. Now let's talk about the schools, because this is where a lot of people get confused. Because Castro Valley is unincorporated, the school district boundaries were established back in 1965, and they do not perfectly match the zip code. In the 94546, you have to be very careful. There are specific pockets south of the 580 where you'll have a Castro Valley mailing address, but you actually fall into Hayward. If you want to stay at the heart of the district, stick to the central neighborhoods near Proctor or Chabot. Now, in 94552, it's a bit easier. You just need to pick which school you want to go to and search from there. Do you want to go to Jensen Ranch, Independent, or Palomares Elementary? For middle school, you have Canyon, which is located right here in the 94552, or you can still choose to send them to Creekside, which is down in the 94546. But once you hit those teen years, the zip code doesn't matter anymore. For high school, everybody becomes a Trojan at Castro Valley High. This is why I tell my clients the zip code is for the post office, but the tax rate area on your title report is the only thing that tells the truth about your school district. If you're looking at a specific house, pay attention to these two things and double check the school boundary in the fire zone. It could save you a decade of headache. Let's talk about the daily commute, because in the Bay Area, time is money. If you work in San Francisco or Oakland, the 94546 is almost always the winner. You are right at the heart of the valley, which means you are minutes away from the Castro Valley BART station. In many neighborhoods in the 94546, you can actually leave your house and be on the platform in about 7 minutes. You also have immediate access to both 580, 880, 238, and even 680 interchanges. The trade-off, you're dealing with the boulevard traffic. Getting across town during school drop-off or rush hour in the 94546 can be a test of patience. Now, if you work in the Tri-Valley like San Ramon, Dublin, or Pleasanton, the 94552 has a secret weapon. Residents here often use the back doors. You have Crow Canyon and Palomares roads right here, or even Dublin Grade. These are scenic routes that can drop you into San Ramon or Dublin or Union City, while everyone else is sitting bumper to bumper on the freeway. The downside of 94552, if you need to get to the BART, you have a commute before your commute. You're looking at least 10 minutes to get to the BART station by going down the hill. I always tell my clients, test drive your life before you buy it. If you're looking at a house in the 94552, drive that Canyon Road at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday. See if you actually enjoy the scenic route. I've lived and worked in both areas, so if you want to know the real drive times, just ask me. So what's the verdict in 2026? There is no better zip code. There is only the one that fits your specific goals. If you're a buyer looking for a house you can add value to and a big yard for a family, the 94546 is likely your best bet. But if you're looking for a large, modern estate where you don't have to lift a finger on renovations, you belong in the hills of 94552. At the end of the day, picking a house is about more than just the zip code. It's about finding the right street, the right insurance profile, and the right school for your family. I live here, I work here, and I've helped countless of families make the exact move. I'm Mac Rogers, your Castro Valley neighborhood specialist. If you're ready to start your search, my contact info is right here. Let's get to work. And by the way, check out my other channel for more real estate tips.